Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to predictions. We've got the FA Cup third round predictions, which I really enjoy because you've got your Premier League, Championship teams. We'll merge them all into one video. League 1, League 2, a few National League teams, Sophie. The magic of the FA Cup.
It's one of the only cups I actually enjoy watching.
Honestly, you'd say it's better than the Carabao Cup?
100%.
Guys, before we get into this, do make sure to hit a like and subscribe. There's 32 games to go through. We're going to talk about the ones which we think are the most interesting, and obviously the ones at the end we will still be predicting. So get your predictions down below. Let me know your thoughts on them. And let's start with Friday night's game, an all-Premier League matchup, Manchester United versus Everton. Going off their recent Premier League results, you've got to lean towards Manchester United. Yeah. Even though it's the FA Cup and there's that possibility Manchester United could change things up a bit, I still think a rotated Man United team would beat Everton's first team.
Yeah.
Everton was shocking against Brighton, booed off the pitch, Frank Lampard under all sorts of pressure there. I don't know how to start this off. Let's say Man United 2-1.
Now I'm going to say 3-0 United. I've not been impressed by Everton at all, and I think they may even rest some players because they've got to prioritise the league. United, I think they will rotate players, but as you said, I think their rotated side is still better than Everton's first team. So for me, it's an easy United win, 3-0.
3-0. Okay, next up, Forest Green versus Birmingham City. This is an interesting one I thought we could talk about. Forest Green are obviously in League 1, battling for survival. Birmingham City, meanwhile, in the league recently have lost their last 3 games, only scoring 1 in that time. Birmingham City are in a position where I don't think they're going to go down. They're not looking particularly close to the playoff chase, so could do with a cup run. They're favourites to win this one, and I think it'd be comfortable. Forest Green 0, Blues 2.
Yeah, I'm going to say another 3-0 to Blues for me. I think they might actually rest a couple of players, but I agree. I think they'll want to go on a bit of a cup run just for the confidence, the morale around the club, and coming up against Forest Green Rovers, no offence to them, but that should be a fairly easy game, so 3-0.
Okay, now this one is quite interesting. Tottenham Hotspur versus Portsmouth. Now, the old Harry Redknapp derby. Pompey have got rid of the manager Cowley recently. Tottenham, meanwhile, picked up a very good win, 4-0 yesterday at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
This could be interesting, but Portsmouth, their form's not great coming into this, but the change in management, could that give them a bit of a bounce? Surely not enough to get a win at Spurs. I think Portsmouth could give it a good go, maybe get on the score sheet, but I'm going to back the favourites. Tottenham to maybe go on a cup run, 3-1 to Spurs.
Yeah, I'm actually saying the exact same. So I think Pompey will score, but I don't think they're really going to be in the game much. I think it's just going to be a bit of a consolation goal. So 3-1 Spurs for me. All
right, we'll move on to Saturday's 3 p.m. kickoffs. We go to Bloomfield Road as Blackpool take on Nottingham Forest. First things first, can we mention Forest's win away at Southampton in the Premier League? Massive. Is my theory that Forest are going to stay up coming to fruition now? They're up to 15th.
It might. It's still a little bit too early to say because there are some big teams down there. However, I did think they'd get a result at Southampton just because of how poor they are.
We both backed them to win that one.
Yeah.
Attention now switches to the FA Cup. Forest have actually got a Carabao Cup quarter-final coming up as well, so they're actually fighting on a few fronts here. I don't think it's the end of the world if Forest go out, but I actually expect them to win. Blackpool this season in the Championship, they're battling for survival, struggling down there. I think Blackpool could stay up this season, but I don't know if the FA Cup's an unwelcome distraction. I'll say Blackpool 1, Forest 3.
I'm going to say 2-1 Forest. I think it might be a slightly tighter game because I think Forest will rest players. Saying that, they've got a massive squad though, haven't they? And I agree with what you're saying about Blackpool. More recent weeks and months, I've not been as impressed by them, but I do think they'll get on the score sheet being at home, so 2-1.
Chesterfield of the National League take on the high-flying West Bromwich Albion of the Championship. Sorry, get carried away there. They're heading that way with their form. This could be interesting. Will West Brom rotate? You'd imagine so, but I find these games interesting where the National League team is at home. Maybe it gives them something that confidence. Yeah, it gives them payday. Obviously, their fans will be making a lot of noise. Can Chesterfield do it? Go on, Chesterfield 1-0.
Oh my God. Do you actually think that's going to play out?
I think it could. If West Brom rotate, I think it could.
Well, like heavily rotate? They'd have to heavily rotate.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, if it comes out, then fair enough. But I do not see that happening at all. I think it's going to be a fairly easy West Brom win, and I think they're going to rest players too. 3-0 to the Baggies.
Okay, now this one I find really interesting. Middlesbrough versus Brighton, because Middlesbrough are soaring up that Championship table. I think this is a really even matchup, especially with Middlesbrough at home. Brighton, we've just mentioned, brilliant. They swept Everton right to the side on Tuesday night, and this is really tricky. I want to back them both to win.
I know.
I suppose it could go to a replay, so I'll go for an entertaining 2-2.
Okay. Do you know, I could see a draw playing out. I feel like I have to back Brighton, though. I do think it's going to be a really tight game. I see both teams scoring, but for me, just because of the quality Brighton have, I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1. Right, on to the Den. It's an all-championship matchup, but an interesting one. Millwall versus Sheffield United. The Blades picked up a late draw at Queen's Park Rangers last time out in the Championship, and they're doing well in the Championship. They'd obviously want to secure that automatic promotion over any kind of cup run, but the possibilities here. Millwall, meanwhile, are obviously gunning for the playoffs, so two good Championship teams here. I'm going to back Sheffield United 2-1.
Oh yeah, I'm actually going to back a draw and go on to the replay. I'm going to say 1-1.
Yeah, heading back to Bramall Lane maybe. Interesting. Right, we'll move on to the 5:30 kickoffs on the Saturday. We've now got Brentford versus West Ham, an all-Premier League matchup. Brentford smashed Liverpool, Sophie. Yeah, I think did you back them to win? I think you said a draw, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know what I said now. I think I said maybe 2-2.
How good are Brentford?
Yeah, they're looking really good. And I know a lot of people have been criticising their celebrations at the end. They're saying, it's just one game. But I love that. I don't care. I love that.
Yeah. To be honest, these two played in the Premier League just a week or two ago. Brentford won at West Ham on that occasion 2-0. I know it's the FA Cup. Things could be a little bit different, but I'm not sure about West Ham and David Moyes. So Brentford...
Still there, though, isn't he?
Yeah, there he is, yeah. Brentford 2-0.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to say the same. I think it's going to be a fairly easy Brentford win, even if both teams do rest a couple of players. I don't know if they will, because they're not actually going to be battling for anything in the Prem, so they might actually try and go on this cup run. Saying that, West Ham actually might prioritise just staying up at this point. I still think Brentford are going to win this, so I agree with you, 2-0.
Right, on to the CBS, Sophie. Coventry City versus Wrexham. Now... Wrexham I've spoken about a few times on the channel this season. They are really good. And obviously we've said the documentary, all that media attention going on at Wrexham. But if you just look at what's on the pitch, they are a very good National League team. Let's be honest, guys, they are probably going to be a Football League team next season, because it's between them and Notts County, surely, to get promoted automatically. And then if not, they could still win the playoffs, you never know. They've got Paul Mullin, really good striker, he's been bashing in goals. They won on their last outing, that was in the West Midlands, when they won 2-1 at Solihull Moors. And like I say, they're 2 points off top with a game in hand. They come to Coventry. Coventry City have drawn their last couple of games. I don't know, the Cup could be a nice distraction for Coventry, as the league we're kind of sat in the middle of, but I'm going to say Wrexham are going to cause us serious problems. They're bringing thousands of fans, and this could be a very unhelpful 1-1 draw for Coventry. It's going to go back to the racecourse.
See, I do not feel good about saying this, but I don't feel that good about this game. When we first got it, we didn't have as many injuries, so I thought, okay, it's not an easy game. I thought it's going to be a good game. Saying that now, we've picked up even more injuries. I think we're going to have to rest players, so I don't think it's going to be that strong a team at all. Coming up against Wrexham, who are a good team, they're in good form, and I think they're going to cause an upset in front of, I think, 4,500 fans they're bringing.
Unbelievable.
We won't have many at all. I'm going to say 2-1 Wrexham. Yeah, sorry.
Like I say, to be honest, it's one of those occasions where I do want us to go strong. I don't want the embarrassment of going out.
See, I'm torn because we've got a few injuries, but then it is just like an extra game. I don't want us going out, especially at home. But rest players and still win. That's what I want.
Right, on to Hillsborough now. Sheffield Wednesday versus Newcastle United. Now, Sheffield Wednesday have lost 1 in 17 in all competitions. That is really good. Yeah. And that was to Southampton in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle doing really well in the Premier League, and a really good draw at Arsenal, 0-0. I think we know they're probably going to finish around third or so this season in the Premier League, unless something bad happens. I think there's the possibility they could win a cup as well. To be honest, they're still going well in the Carabao Cup. Could they go on a FA Cup run? Do you know what? I feel like Sheffield Wednesday might... Newcastle might have the first half, Sheffield Wednesday might have the second half. And I'm going to say it finishes 1-1, then goes for a replay back at Newcastle.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I think Newcastle are going to win this one, but I do think Sheffield Wednesday might get on the score sheet. Again, I think it's going to be a consolation, so 3-1 Newcastle for me.
Right, on to Anfield next. Liverpool take on Wolves, all Premier League matchup. Wolves drew last time out at Villa Park, 1-1. Podence's goal was quite nice, actually, watching that back. But Liverpool, they've recovered sort of since the World Cup break with a couple of wins, and then they go and lose to Brentford. Brentford away is now looking like a very tricky game, though, yeah. I will say. Liverpool at home here, they've got to try and salvage something this season, so maybe a cup run. Liverpool 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game as well. I'm just going to say 1-0. I can see it being quite low scoring and a little bit cagey, but Liverpool surely win this, so 1-0.
Okay, right, on to the next one. We should be going to Villa Park, Aston Villa versus Stevenage. This should be interesting, Soph. Stevenage have sold just under 3,000 tickets at the time of recording this. Obviously, Villa, don't expect them to sell out, but I'm sure they'll have a good crowd nonetheless. Yeah. They've been alright in their last couple of Premier League games. They drew with Wolves. They could have won that late on, and they did beat Spurs away 2-0. Yeah. To give Stevenage a mention, they've been doing really well in League 2. They're in that top 3. It looks like they could be going up automatically this season. I think this could be a really entertaining game. I'd love an upset, but I think I've got to back Villa here. But I'll go for absolute goals and everything going on. Villa 4, Stevenage 2.
Oh, wow. I think it's going to be a bit of a clean sweep for Villa here. 3-0.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
you're not giving Stevenage the credit they deserve.
I know.
Never mind. Right, only 2 games left. Next up, Manchester City take on Chelsea. They play tonight in the Premier League at the time of recording this. Now they're obviously going to be playing in the FA Cup. Manchester City are in a bit of a strange situation. They need to really gun Arsenal down in the Premier League, but if they don't do that, they need to make up for it by collecting some of these cups.
Yeah.
So I think they need to win this. Chelsea, quite a bit of pressure there for Graham Potter.
A lot of pressure.
Man City 2-0.
I don't know why, but I see a draw playing out, and I think it's going to be quite an entertaining game. I'm going to back a 2-2 draw.
Really?
I think, yeah. I mean, with Man City, even if they rest players, the squad they've got is just ridiculous. So I think even their second team could beat most teams in the Prem's first team. However, I just see Chelsea grinding out the draw here, so 2-2.
All right, the final game we'll mention is on the Monday night. It's Oxford United versus Arsenal. Now, surely this can't be an upset. With Arsenal doing so well in the Premier League, this would be the biggest upset we could possibly get. Oxford United in League One, we discussed them the other day in a League One video where they're kind of sat in the middle of the table. They need a good run to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to go up or down this season. So could they go on a cup run? I don't know. This is a very tricky one. I think Oxford United being at home is going to be interesting. Can they give them a good game? Yes. Can they get on the score sheet? Yes. Will they win? In my opinion, no. Oxford United 1, Arsenal 3.
Okay, I don't actually see them getting on the score sheet here. I think it's going to be not masses of goals, but I think it's going to be a fairly easy Arsenal win, 2-0.
2-0. Right, that wraps up the games we are talking about. We'll leave the games we're not talking about there. These are mine and Sophie's predictions for all the other FA Cup games over the weekend. Like I say, FA Cup third round, all the Premier League and Championship teams in action. We've got a few from League One, a few from League Two, and like I say, a couple from the National League. Do make sure to get your predictions down below if you want to get involved in the comments. Do make sure to hit that thumbs up button. We'll go for 200 likes on this video. And do make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date with this football channel. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.